The world's largest all-terrain crane just rolled out of the factory, and its very first lift is right here in the uninhabited outback of the Great Northwest. Its mission: to plant massive wind turbines all over the Gobi Desert. Just what kind of giant wind turbine requires such a massive crane to install it? And why does it need so many giant trailers working together just to transport and assemble a single turbine? This is the kind of thing you won't see even once in a lifetime in everyday life. In this series, we're showing you the entire process of assembling and installing a super crane and a top-tier wind turbine. Watch this full video to see the story of this super crane and the forest of wind turbines in the uninhabited Northwest. Let's dive into the world of Chinese manufacturing together. Hello, everyone. I'm David. This super crane and its fleet of support trucks have been steadily arriving in the Northwest. Next, we are going to cross this stretch of the uninhabited Gobi Desert and head towards the top of Stone Mountain. The legendary Han Dynasty general Huo Quibang decisively defeated the Xiongnu on this very land, opening up the Hexi Corridor and reaching the pinnacle of military success. He achieved a man's ultimate dream. Today, join us as we follow this Zoomlion-built heavy machine. We will overcome all obstacles in this vast landscape to build a forest of steel. In the distance, two giant green booms appear, letting us know we've spotted the finish line. Starting from Zoomlion in Changsha, Hunan, to get here, this beast traveled many kilometers to finally reach its debut site. This marks the beginning of its lifelong mission as a pillar of national industry. Now, let's get into the super assembly phase. Two Zoomlion support cranes work together to lift the heavy slewing ring up into the air. Then the giant crane drives in to connect the two. Once the slewing rings are perfectly aligned, the workers connect the hydraulic lines, and the support cranes can finally release their hooks. After a seamless fit, the locking pins automatically pop into place. When assembling a super crane like this, even the smallest looking accessory weighs far beyond your imagination. Just look at these two hydraulic cylinders in front of us. They weigh a ton. Once these two outriggers are installed, you can barely even see the tires. As for the rear outrigger, we will wait until the main boom is attached before installing it. With the front outriggers on, the super crane really starts to look like a transforming steel behemoth. Assembling the main boom is the crucial step in bringing this super crane to life. How can a master swordsman not have his sword right? Otherwise, with such a flat chassis, you guys would always joke that it's a shame not to use it for hauling produce. The super crane has several boom sections in total. Right now, we're installing the two heavy base sections. The whole vehicle is fully hydraulic. Even the sledgehammer didn't expect to be retired one day. After installing the base boom, the crane from earlier backs up again to adjust its position. The overall vehicle height is around several meters. For cranes under 1,000 tons, you have to climb up to the operator cabin yourself. But not this one. The cabin is 2 stories high, and you can take a direct elevator all the way up. Look at that proud head turn. It definitely knows it's the most powerful in the world right now. The two support cranes flip the boom around to make installation easier. Just these heavy boom sections are enough to give those two a run for their money. If it were any farther, they wouldn't be able to reach it. The crane extends its second section, boom out a bit to make the connection easier. The two cranes align the boom with the opening of the base section and slide it in slightly. Once the crane's hydraulic cylinder hooks onto the boom, it can pull the boom back in by itself. As the assembly continues, the bloodline of this steel titan is awakening. Besides, the construction crew, you probably wouldn't see its final form even once in your life. Generally, the absolute largest crane you'll see working in a city is under 1,000 tons. The best among them are the heavy tonners, but these super cranes over 1,000 tons, they are born with a singular mission. Unless there's a special situation, they will only occasionally show off their godly skills in the city. All 7 boom sections are now fully assembled, and the crane starts its final positioning. We pull the tape measure from the lifting center point to the crane's center to get the exact distance in meters. Once the position is set, we start installing the 2 rear outriggers. Just one outrigger weighs a ton. Just looking at it makes you feel incredibly secure. The 2 rear outriggers are now installed. Next, enjoy the sight of this 4,000-ton super crane's ironclad defenses. 4 massive outriggers. Each outrigger needs an oversized base plate to increase the load-bearing area. I feel like I'm filming a guy in a red uniform, while my own clothes are so dirty. This worker jumps up and down all day, constantly busy. He told me to wait until he wore something clean before I filmed him, but honestly right now, he is the perfect embodiment of a hard-working laborer. After padding The base plates, the four outriggers, stand like four towering walls of steel, firmly planted on the ground. Next up, we start assembling the upper parts. The hoisting engine, counterweights, super wings, and the wind power boom are all lining up. Before that, the super crane rotates around to check and calibrate all of its functions. Another beautiful sunset. The massive outriggers and thick boom make it look like a waking beast. On our way home from work, we ran into some coworkers with a blown tire, so we took the spare tire off our pickup to see if it would fit. The worker in the red uniform is called Captain Yang by everyone. He's also my fellow townsman from Yunnan, working on construction sites. Year-round, his face no longer has the youthful look of someone his age. He doesn't care if his clothes get dirty or if the work is exhausting. As long as he can work every day and send money back to his family, he's happy. After struggling for a bit, we realized the lug nut patterns didn't match. We had no choice but to wait for a rescue truck. In the end, Captain Yang didn't forget to help us put our spare tire back on. He stayed there all by himself, waiting for the tire replacement. As soon as the sky lit up, we headed back up the mountain to continue assembly. Counterweights we're installing today are incredibly heavy, combined with the rear shifting function. We don't even need the full load to easily handle this megawatt wind turbine installation. This is the eye of God on the Zoomlion crane. This single tire sits right in the dead center, beneath the slewing ring and the main boom. The massive outriggers on both sides hide all the other tires, except for this one, staring right back at you. Now it's time for the most popular and coolest part, installing the super wings. The moment it spreads its wings, you'll truly understand the industrial aesthetics of Chinese manufacturing. Behind this 4,000-ton machine, countless wind turbines are spinning endlessly. This is exactly why foreign media claim China has no wind power. These forests of wind turbines literally materialize the true value of the northwest winds. This vast northwest land has blown life into countless unextinguished lights for thousands of homes. Finally, we've reached the final major step in shaping the super crane, installing the wind power boom. This time, the wind power boom needs to be extended to its full length. Add that to the main boom's length and the total length reaches way up there. That's nearly the height of a multi-story building, and it has to lift weights of over 100 tons. It's unbelievable just thinking about it. Humans look tiny like ants standing in front of these super machines. But these behemoths are the product of human intelligence and innovation. Zoomlions, super cranes like this have never been out of reach technological flexes, but rather essential tools in the hands of everyday workers. Domestic manufacturers constantly push the limits and bravely lead the way. All for two words: Chinese manufacturing. Sky, sky, sky. A bunch of workers climbed up to the top of the boom. They're getting ready for this super crane by hauling the steel cables and threading the needle. In the evening sun, their silhouettes line up in a row, carrying the steel cable and slowly inching forward. Millions of workers like Captain John dedicate themselves to national infrastructure in hidden places. Maybe their stories will never be told, but the work in their hands never stops. While providing for their families, they are also adding a bold and heavy stroke to the grand picture of the Chinese dream. Before we knew it, it was night again. All the vehicles on site turned on their headlights. Tonight we have to lift this massive boom. Next up, we officially start the lifting and installation phase. First, they install the generator weighing over 100 tons into the nacelle, and then they extend the telescopic boom. Adding the jib, it can reach incredible heights. This is the very first time this super crane has drawn its sword. The incredibly long boom looks just like a giant sword blade, shining under the national flag. It becomes a sharp sword in the hands of the workers, swinging it again and again. If one strike isn't enough, then 1,000, 10,000, millions of strikes until the gates of heaven are open, building up the Chinese dream. This is the physical proof of our willpower through mega infrastructure. A traveler who rode his electric bike for thousands of miles unexpectedly showed up. We helped him take a photo, and then he hit the road again. Some people are just born to wander. They are destined to roam. We always like to judge whether our life choices are right or wrong, but doing what you love is a correct choice in itself. Just like the writer said, spending your life exactly the way you want to is the only true success. Next up, we start lifting the tower sections. With this section added, the height of this massive structure will reach incredible heights. There's no elevator inside the tower yet, so the workers have to climb the ladders barehanded just to reach the top for installation. Building a giant cylindrical wind turbine this tall requires 3 different cranes. First, a heavy crane installs the bottom concrete rings, and then another crane handles the middle rings. Finally, the hardest job of capping it off is done by the largest crane. Can you guys even remember the last time you had a power outage? Next, we start hoisting the nacelle. It weighs dozens of tons and is the heaviest piece of equipment in the entire lifting process. The workers, spread out in 4 directions, holding the guidelines to control the nacelle in the air, so it doesn't just spin in the wind. Once the nacelle is locked in place, we only have the rotor and 3 blades left to install. Wrapping up for the night, it's pitch black again. Infrastructure workers see more sunrises, sunsets, and starry nights than anyone else. Hoisting the rotor is actually pretty easy. It's not as heavy as the nacelle, and it's not as long as the blades. The rain washed out the roads in the desert, delaying us for a few days. All these concrete tower sections and blades can finally make their way up the mountain today. The body of this blade transport truck can actually extend and retract. The wheelbase is over 100 feet long, but to get up the mountain, they have to switch to these shorter trucks. The massive blades weigh dozens of tons. To pull them with such a short truck, they had to increase the total weight by adding extreme counterweights. Otherwise, the whole thing would tip over like a seesaw. The blades are transported from day to night. 3 loaders are on standby at all times. Once they arrive, the strong winds mean they can only unload and wait for the weather to clear before hoisting. Of course, who wouldn't want to travel? Everyone has a dream destination in their heart. We all want to go see Tiananmen Square and climb the Great Wall, but reality doesn't always allow it. We have kids to raise and elderly parents to care for. We all have to work hard to support our families. After counting stars for almost the entire night, the wind finally died down. Tonight, under the starlight, my coworkers and I chatted about everything under the sun. We talked about Beijing and the pride we felt watching the military parade. We also agreed that everyone has a Tiananmen in their heart. China is massive, spanning millions of square miles, but China is also very small. So small that you can reach Tiananmen Square in just a few hours on a bullet train. But life truly ties down every single worker. It feels like none of us can ever really leave these mountains. This next lift took us straight from pitch black into the early dawn. This time, this massive wind turbine only needs 2 more blades. Once it's completely installed and fully operational, just 1 hour of full rotation can generate tons of electricity. While the workers are busy securing the bolts, the rotor above is shifting its angle, getting right into the perfect position for the heavy lift. Once the second blade is successfully installed, 3 loaders haul the final blade truck to the summit. Now, the world's largest all-terrain crane custom, built by Zoomlion, crosses thousands of miles to its very first stop in the Northwest, ready to wrap this up perfectly. Wind power is a fully sustainable and clean energy source. The biggest challenge it faces right now is improving energy storage and transmission. As long as we can overcome this hurdle, this steel forest of wind turbines will provide us with an almost endless supply of electricity. Will also become a global powerhouse for energy transmission. Beijing. Message received. To the workers, every single thing we build is a true salute to our national flag. Not everyone has been to Beijing, but every citizen holds Tiananmen Square in their heart, and the flag at Tiananmen flies proudly for every single one of us. As we wrap up this video, I wish for our country to be strong and our people to prosper, and I vow to fight for the rise of our nation for the rest of my life.